By the way, have you heard of this thing called the gender pay gap?
Yeah, for sure.
What's your take on it? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, like it's proven that there is this gender pay gap, and like I have to say, I never experienced it. Like the jobs I had, I was always like paid equal to men. But since I'm more like in the NGO sector, I think it's different. But you can't deny that. I think I don't come here with the numbers and stuff, so people should do their research on their own, and maybe I should have prepared it. But I think it's maybe a third or something, the difference.
It's 77 cents on the dollar. So women earn 77 cents on the male dollar, for example.
And tell me, why is that?
Okay.
I mean, they do like the same work.
So let me tell you, this is interesting you just said that. So it's actually how this initial study was conducted. I haven't looked at the further studies, to be honest, but the way it initially is conducted, there's a big problem with it. So it takes into consideration all the female salaries versus all the male salaries. I just count it. That's it. That's how they've come to that conclusion. It doesn't take into consideration Judith has the same job as Ramsey, and what's the difference there? It doesn't do that. But what it doesn't account for is that most of the really risky jobs, like you saw in the documentary, are done by men. And those really risky jobs, which are very dangerous, pay for that risk. So as a result, you know what I mean? Since you have more men doing really, really dangerous shit, you have that discrepancy in the numbers.
Okay, that's interesting, but then I'll ask you, why don't women do these jobs? For example, like my flatmate in Germany, he's an electrician.
Right.
And I asked him, like, he's doing his apprenticeship again in Germany now. And I asked him, like, in your class, is there any women? And he told me, like, no, not in the whole school of electricians, there's no women. And I'm really like, I don't know why, because it's not a job which is like really difficult, or you have to, like, I don't know, heavy weights or something you could not do with like physically.
So one aspect is, like we looked at Titanic, men are more disposable. You know, fuck it, he's a guy. Who is he? He's not no one yet. He's still young. You know, we'll send him off to war or whatever. Like 98 to 99% of war deaths are men. You know what I mean? And even like these kinds of jobs, it's because women don't really have to do that kind of stuff. There's no need. Whereas, like, let's say a guy, he gets married, he has a family. Fuck, whatever job is around, I'm gonna do. And like when I used to live in places like Switzerland, those jobs were already a bit dangerous enough. But here, I'll be walking by and I'm watching a mosque being built, like a guy repairing something, and he's all the way on the top, and he's standing on this thin little plank with no wood, with no like ropes or anything. This plank where he's balancing on. And he's like wearing slippers. And he's like hammering something. And I'm like, man, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, just relax, man. I do this every day, you know. So, and he has to bring that money, you know. Like, he has to feed his family. He has to do a lot of shit. So that's why more men do it, because they kind of have to. And where in Europe, it's like men are more drawn, in my opinion, to that kind of work, to that kind of risky stuff. It's fun, it's exciting, and in some other countries it's because they're desperate, and they're more likely to find jobs in that space. So that's my theory on it.